For Hillary Clinton's presidential campaign, Brian Fallon. Brian, good afternoon to you, sir. I wanted to start off by asking you specifically about the New York Times, the report, and the campaign's reaction to it. I know the campaign has not been happy about it. Are you satisfied with the correction that has since been issued?
Well, we're certainly pleased about the correction, but this was really an unfortunate incident that never should have happened. And I feel bad for the New York Times. I know both of the reporters that worked on the story. They're both consummate professionals, but to be candid, I think they got taken for a ride here by partisan sources on the House Benghazi committee that have made a habit of routinely and selectively leaking out information in an attempt to make Hillary Clinton look bad. We've gotten far afield from the initial jurisdiction of this committee, and the work was really supposed to be wrapped up months ago. Now it looks like they're telegraphing it'll extend well into 2016, which is just clearly an effort to influence this presidential campaign, and it's a shame and it's a travesty that they're politicizing the deaths of 4 Americans, which is what this committee's inquiry was initially supposed to be looking into.
I want to put on the screen there a statement from the letter that was from the Inspector General, in which it says, "We noted that none of the emails we reviewed had classified or dissemination markings, but some included IC-derived classified information and should have been handled as classified, appropriately marked and transmitted via a secure network." And a spokeswoman, Andrea Williams, also had this to say: "The 4 emails in question were classified when they were sent and are classified now." What is your response to this letter from the Inspector General saying that there were at least 4 emails that were sent that contained classified information, and more importantly, that should have been transmitted through a secure network?
Well, a couple points. Number one is the Inspector General's has indicated that there were no markings at the time, so I don't think that anything that they're saying today is contending that Hillary Clinton knew that there was anything that could have been considered classified material that was transmitted on her server. Secondly, there's disagreement about whether this information would have been properly classified at the time. The State Department, which has been a co-equal partner in reviewing these materials, has come to a different conclusion. Hillary Clinton was the Secretary of State, and the agency where she worked is saying as recently as today that they don't think that these, they respectfully disagree and don't think that these materials would have been classified at the time. So the fact of the matter is there's 55,000 pages of documents that are being worked through. There's an army of government lawyers from the Intelligence Committee. There's bound to be instances where after the fact lawyers come forward and think that they'd rather redact something than make it public. But in every instance that's happened so far, it's been identified as something that's happened after the fact. And we've taken appropriate steps to safeguard that material. But again, there's a reasonable disagreement there. We believe that Hillary Clinton handled all the materials properly.
And Brian, we've been obviously getting a lot of political reaction from the GOP on this, and I wanted to get your reaction to it. How much does this rev up Republicans' call for Secretary Clinton to hand over the server? I want to put this up. This was a comment today from Speaker Boehner. He said, "If Secretary Clinton truly has nothing to hide, she can prove it by immediately turning over her server to the proper authorities and allowing them to examine the complete record." Is that something we can expect Secretary Clinton to do?
She has handed over 55,000 pages worth of materials. It's an unprecedented step for a Secretary of State. No one wants those materials to be released more quickly than she does. We have a prolonged schedule here because of the sheer volume of a review that's going to go into this, but she has called for them to be released as quickly as possible. I think once they are, people will have a window into her work as Secretary of State. That's what she wants to see happen. But I think that these statements that you've seen today from Speaker Boehner have deliberately mischaracterized the nature of the referral that has been made here. And again, we believe that it was partisan sources in the first place that helped mislead the Times into reporting this story that they've since had to correct, which has just been an unfortunate episode.
Press Secretary for Hillary Clinton's campaign, Brian Fallon, thank you very much, sir.
Thank you for
joining us. So let's bring in our panel here.